What do bikers spend way too much time on? That's right, washing their machines. So today, this is Octane Restorations, and we're going to go over how to completely detail one of these motorcycles from wheel to wheel. So stay tuned, thanks for watching. Also, huge shout out to Kenady Detail, based out of Lubbock, Texas. They're one of Lubbock's premier auto detailers. Kenady Detail is where I got my G-Technique products from. They carry all of G-Technique's products. They're G-Technique accredited. So if all of this was too much work, go check them out. Like I said, they're based out of Lubbock, Texas. So, first things first, you gotta gather your supplies. First thing you gotta have is a good soap. Me, I'm going to be using Meguiar's Hyper Wash. It's from the Meguiar's Detailer line. You're also going to have a microfiber scrubber. So I'm using a wash mitten. Next, you're going to want to have some microfiber cleaning cloths, microfiber drying towels as well. I'm also going to be using a leaf blower, an electric leaf blower, and that's going to blow dry the majority of the motorcycle, which just saves you time in cleaning, and plus it also keeps it from getting scratched by the drying rags. I'm also going to be using a wheel cleaner. That's a spray. I'm also going to be clay barring this, cutting, compounding, polishing, and ceramic coating it. Like I said, I'm trying to give you all the full detail. You're going to need a variable speed orbital. In this case, since it's a motorcycle, I am going to be using one with a smaller head. You don't want one of the big 9-inch ones, just because you're not going to be able to fully get the motorcycle cut and compounded and polished as you will with the smaller head. So I'm going to be using one of those. And then you're going to have a remover to get that polishing compound off as well. And then of course, your ceramic coating that you're going to apply, plus some microfibers to clean off the ceramic coating. Also, if you have any plans to restore the plastic, use plastic trim restore. Ones with the dyes will last longer. But here I'm actually just going to be applying a ceramic coating to the plastics, which will restore that color. So I'm not going to be using a trim restore per se, but I am going to be using a ceramic coating on it. Also, if you have leather seats like this, you're going to want to use a leather conditioner, and that'll help preserve the seats, keep them from cracking, make them more smooth. So. Also, I'm going to have a few different detailing brushes as well. I'm also going to use paint brushes that the metal part is duct tape as to prevent scratching. It's just a cheap way to clean these motorcycles because there's so many crevices you have to get into. You can go through a lot of brushes. Because as you can see, this has a sealant coating on it already. So it readily beads water off of it. So chances are your motorcycle is probably not going to do this unless you wash it and wax it regularly. It's a controversial opinion. Motorcycles are made to be ridden in rain. So I don't have any problem spraying water on the dash. Whenever I'm trying to film a video. One thing I forgot to mention, whenever you're getting ready to detail something, this can be a big mistake, okay? If this is in your pocket, your clip is out, you rub up against the motorcycle, you can leave a big old gouge in the paint. So if you have anything in your pockets, I recommend putting them to where there's no clips available. Another step to take it even further is to just go ahead and empty your pockets. But that's normally the first step I do, is to empty my pockets or make sure I have no clips showing. I try to take a belt off as well because I don't want a big belt buckle scratching it. Most pants will have these little, these little rivets in them. So you just do have to be cautious of not scraping the motorcycle as you're walking by. Just keep your perception of where you are. And as you notice, today it's also an overcast day. I live in Texas to where I can get 107 during the day. So today it's a nice little overcast. This will help keep the water from drying on the motorcycle. Like I said, I've got real hard water here. So doing this on a day with an overcast is pretty essential, just so that the water doesn't dry on here and leave water spots. But I'm just gonna continue rinsing this thing fully. Next up after the rinse, I'm going to go ahead and do the wheels and tires, so that way any of the wheel cleaner spray that gets anywhere else, it'll be taken off during the wash process. After you scrub the wheels and tires, I would change your bucket of water because you don't really want that wheel cleaner on the rest of the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, spray wheel cleaner. If you have a center stand on your motorcycle, that will make getting the back wheel significantly easier. For the front wheel to get the whole thing, you are going to have to push it a little bit. I like testing a lot of different stuff. I have a lot of products from McGuire's detailer line. This one was at O'Reilly's and was recommended to me by a friend, so we're going to try this one today. It's called the Pro X1 All-Wheel and Tire Cleaner. This will be cheating a little bit because these are new tires, so it's probably going to be very easy to make them look nice. I'm also going to use a plastic brush to go ahead and scrub the rubber to get all that dirt and grime off. You do want to make sure to get a wheel and tire cleaner that is safe for your tire. This one says it's safe for aluminum, steel, and painted wheels, so I know that there's not going to be any issue using it on my Goldwing wheels. So most of these have a time that you gotta wait. This particular product is 30 seconds of letting it sit on there to kind of work its magic, getting that dirt and grime off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and scrub the rubber with my brush. And then I have a dedicated microfiber hand mitt. You can see it kind of says wheel on there. That is solely dedicated for the use of tires, just because I don't want to use it on the rest of the motorcycle because tires are generally more dirty. And as you can see, it's already turning brown, getting the dirt off that was on there. This has been the best method I have found, is using a scrubber and then some type of wheel cleaner. Also, some degreasers work really well on tires as well. But then, like I said, I like to use this microfiber mitt on the inside of the wheel just because you don't want to scratch it. As you see, that already looks significantly better, so we're going to go ahead and do the other side so that way we don't have to roll it twice. So some of these will destroy your painted wheels or your aluminum wheels, so just be very, very careful and be sure to read the bottle, because that's the last thing you want to do, is to spray something on aluminum wheels like Simple Green, and then it'll just eat it. And this cleaner is actually doing a really good job. It wasn't that expensive from O'Reilly's either. As you can see, it's getting off all of the grease and lube that was on there from whenever I mounted the tire. A lot of this is actually corrosion on the tire from sitting for 16 years. But if you don't have one of the brushes that goes in and out to get in between the different parts of the rim and the spoke, motorcycle tires are easy to clean. So this is taking me a little bit longer to do just because I'm trying to tutorial it. So if you do live somewhere where it looks like that the water's trying to dry on there, normally after doing the front tire, I'll go ahead and re-rinse it, or after doing the back tire, if I'm starting with that one, I'll just go ahead and re-rinse it. so that way you don't get water spots and water doesn't dry on the vehicle. That wheel will spin. So I just like to spray it, and then I just like to scrub it, and I'll do one side and then do the other. I mean, you can see how dirty this is. And look, that wheel cleaner is doing a great job of getting that grease and grime off. So, like I said, let it sit, scrub it, and then come back and hit the metal with the microfiber so you don't scratch it. As you can see, that brake dust, this one will change to clean. Once your rears are done, I'm going to go ahead and rinse the bike off one more time, again so that the water doesn't draw on the motorcycle. And then I'm going to connect my pressure washer so that way I can use my foam cannon. I'm also going to fill up 2 buckets, one with soap, one with just regular water. I'm going to wash, and then whenever I get ready to dump my mitt, I'm going to dump it in the one that's just water, just to kind of rinse off all the dirt and stuff, and then I'm going to go back to the one with soap to continue washing. Some people don't use a bucket of soap whenever they use a foam cannon. I don't think it's going to hurt it, so I'm just going to use both. So now while you're doing the 2-bucket method, remember the first bucket is used to rinse off your dirty mitt. And then the second one is to get your mitt full of soap again in the clean bucket. So we're just going to do the whole motorcycle like that right now. I like to work top down so that way the contaminants fall downward. That way you're not bringing up, and generally the bottom of the motorcycle is the dirtiest. So you don't want to bring all those dirty contaminants to the non-contaminated area. So again, I like to work top down.
So if you're not planning on ceramic coating it or polishing it or anything, go ahead and skip this next step. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be clay barring it. So I'm going to get some more soap on there to use as my clay bar lubricant with the foam cannon. And then I'm just going to go over all the painted surfaces that I'm going to polish and ceramic coat with the clay bar just to get contaminants out of there. So. Got my little piece of clay right here. Like I said, all the painted surfaces that I'm going to be ceramic coating. So pretty much all the blue and some of the gray. I'm going to go ahead and clay bar. Anywhere it feels gritty, like there's sand, that's where you need to just keep going over with the clay bar till it's smooth. Whenever it's smooth, it means it's picked up the contaminants. So we got kind of a gritty spot right here. Just gonna flip it over. Keep going over that area till it's not gritty anymore. And again, you want to be sure and have washed your motorcycle really good because dirt and stuff will get caught in here. So you can do this before or after the clay bar. I like to get a brush and I like to get in all the cracks and crevices. There's a lot of them on this, so just beware. A tip you can do for these that have this metal ring, if you put some duct tape around it properly, it won't scratch it. So if you don't feel very comfortable using one of these, put some duct tape around it and that'll help fix that problem. If you need stiffer, cut the bristles shorter. The shorter the bristles, the stiffer it gets, and you can actually get some pretty impressive scrubbing action with some shortly cut bristles. So I'm just going to go all the emblems, logos, words, plastics, everything like that that I can't reach with the wash mitten. I'm going to use a paintbrush or a detailing brush to get into. So since we did all that work to prep the paint for ceramic coating, I'm going to use a leaf blower to dry it off to keep contaminants off of it. If you're just worried about cleaning it, this is when you go ahead and you would dry it with a microfiber towel. I wouldn't use a ShamWow or anything, or a chamois, also known as chamois. I wouldn't use any type of towel besides a microfiber. Waffle weaves are generally pretty good. But like I said, I'm going to blow this whole thing off with a leaf blower just to blow it dry.
I am going to be using Meguiar's consumer line. First, their ultimate compound, so you gotta compound the scratches out of it, which is equal to about their 100 for their professional line. Then I'm going to follow it with their polish, again the consumer one, which is equal to the 210 Ultra Pro finishing polish. And again, you compound first because compound is a heavier cut and it will get the swirl marks and scratches out. And then after you compound it, you follow it up with a polish, and the polish is what gives it that depth and clarity. It gets rid of all the fine marks left over. And I'm using a random throw orbital. I'm using a Torque brand, which is the Chemical Guys brand. I would recommend a different brand, me personally, but it's what we have, so it's what we're using. I'm going to be using a foam pad for the compound, and then I'm going to be using a microfiber for the polish. And then we are going to finish it all with a remover spray to get all the residue off.
But what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to give it a once over with a microfiber to get off any dirt or residue that might have gotten on the machine since we have washed it. So let's go ahead and do that now. I do have a few different light sources. This is just a big white light on a tripod that I will be using. And I also have a few lamps set up. That way it can assist me in seeing the scratches.
I initially taped off some areas, but the tape wasn't sticking very well to the plastic. And because I'm using a 3-inch pad on my random throw orbital, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Plus, all the plastic is getting ceramic coated after, so it's going to be just fine without taping it off.
If using electric tools, I would recommend putting it over your shoulder. That way the cord's not going to scrape over the motorcycle. Just a little tip.
And by electric, I do mean corded. Again, if this is a battery powered one, you don't got to worry about it. Here, I'm applying some firm pressure and just moving it up and down. Eventually, I slowed down a little bit, which helped remove a lot of the scratches and oxidation on this. As you can see, this bike is in pretty rough shape, and I should have spent more time slowing down right here, but I was worried about burning the clear coat. If you stay in the same spot too long, even with a random throw orbital, it could still burn the clear coat, and that's what I was trying to avoid by continuously moving up and down. But I would slow down just a little bit more than this and continue to apply pressure. My RPM right here is on setting 2 to 3, which I think is about 2,000 on this machine. You don't want it extremely fast, but you also don't want it slow. If you can't get it off, that's where this spray comes in. So now that we got the whole bike compounded, we got it polished, there's still some polish residue on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that spray, we're going to spray that, that's going to get the polish residue off. We're also going to do that to the plastics as well, because I am going to ceramic coat the plastics with a cheaper eBay ceramic coat. It's not going to be the G technique. This is something that I've been doing for a while, kind of experimenting with, and ceramic coating the plastics just with, you know, a Mr. Fix ceramic coating seems to work better than a trim or store, and it does seem to give it a pretty good coating. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. So I'm going to use my direction plate. Just hold the video, put the speed drop sign, and then turn around downstairs. Give it 36, and everything like that. So now I'm just going to give it 30 seconds so. You can kind of see there's some rainbowing effect going on. Or it looks like an oil spill right there. That's time to wipe off. Humidity and temperature can affect this. Like I said, I'm going to be applying it to the emblems, because look at this. As you can see, there's still some blemishes, you know. It's not perfect by any means. Man, look at that. We got all the painted stuff ceramic coated. All that's left to do is like the plastics, and I am gonna put some type of coating on the windshield after I buff it and clean it. So, but it's pretty late at night. Been working on it all day, so I'm gonna go to sleep and we're gonna pick up this later. Me personally, since I have the time to wait, I'm gonna give it about 14 days to cure before I ride it. Technically, this coating is good after 12 hours, but 12 hours is a better length of time to let it cure, let it get harder. So.
This thing is looking crazy glossy. It's crazy how smooth that is, especially after the ceramic coating. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start polishing some metal. So some metal pieces like this, as you can see, it's got a little bit of corrosion, some water spots. So I'm going to be using some metal polish and a rag, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to start polishing some of the metal. I'm going to be using Blue Magic Metal Polish Cream. So if yours separates out right here, like as you can see, mine's kind of got some liquid. You just need something clean to stir it. You know, I'm just going to use like an old zip tie. I got it mixed up pretty well, as you can see there. So now I'm just going to put the lid on and shake it. And as you can see, we're back to normal. The liquids and the solids in here, the abrasive parts, sometimes they'll just separate out. What I like to do is after I shake it, I just use what's on the top of the can, and that's what I actually polish the metal with. It's what I dip my rag in. So most of these you want to use like the thing says a cotton terry towel, so like just a cotton rag, you know, or you can use a microfiber. I like to use old socks. If I get a sock that gets a hole in it, this is what I'll use it for. So you watching? So kind of like using the clay bar, I'm just polishing till I feel a lack of resistance, because whenever you first start polishing, you'll feel all that corrosion. And now I've just got an old, this microfiber I used for a ceramic coating previously, so it's kind of hard right there, but the corners and stuff are still good. And as you can see, look at that difference. So as you can see, that just brought out that color and luster. Man, this thing just keeps looking better and better. It's crazy what some elbow grease, some metal polish, and a rag will do. As you saw, the exhaust and all the metal actually cleaned up very well. I mean, look at the armrests. They look brand new. So now all that's left, if you gotten to this point, if you've made it here, we got to condition the leather, which I've got some leather cleaner and conditioner I'm going to use. If you have rims that are shinable, now is the time to do that. Again, I'm not going to be shining these rims, but if you have shinable rims, now is the time to do that.
So normally you're good to drive your motorcycle shortly after the ceramic coating is dried. Most people wait 12 to 48 hours. I'm going to wait 2 weeks, which is the time it takes for the ceramic coating to fully cure, just because I put all that effort in it and I want it as hard as possible. After it is fully cured, since this is going to be a daily driver, at this point, I'm going to consider putting on like a sealant or a wax, just so that way it can protect the ceramic coating a little more. I'm going to go with a G-Technique C2 V3 spray ceramic sealant or Turtle Wax Ice and Shine. But now, since this is fully cured, what we're going to do is we're going to blow it off with an air compressor because some dust and dirt has gotten on it. And then we are going to actually apply a spray ceramic coating / sealant. That'll protect the ceramic coating a little bit. Some people say it's counterintuitive to protect the ceramic coating, but I want as long of life out of this ceramic coating as possible. So something simple like a sealant is not going to hurt it at all. Also, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to properly apply tire shine to a motorcycle without getting it on the tread. And then she's going to be done. It is kind of crazy how easy the dirt and dust blows off of it after the ceramic coating. Just how glossy it is, the dirt doesn't stick to it at all. Now, most detailers don't even put tire shine on motorcycle tires. You got to be careful not to get it on the tread. You know, granted, if you're riding it, it'll probably come off pretty quickly, but most people just rather be safe than sorry with that type of thing. But, so we're going to be applying it with a tire sponge. And like I said, the back wheel's already up on the center stand, so we're going to go ahead and apply this while we can freely move it. I generally use whatever is cheap and works good as far as tire shine goes. This is Black Magic Tire Wet. It seems to work pretty well. And like I said, some people like doing this to their motorcycle. Other people don't. So again, that's all there is to it. Like I said, this has a curb to go on the tire. You just want to wipe off all the excess so it doesn't drip and whatnot. One thing about tire dressings is 99.9% of them attract dirt, so that is just something to remember. I really don't like motorcycle windshields just because they have a tendency to scratch, and being out in the sun a lot kind of degrades them. But that's about as good as we're going to get that one without actually fully restoring it, which you might see in another video.